Quality, comfort, and safety are the keywords to bear in mind when you're buying any helmet, and the Arai Quantic has it in spades. Arai in general have those things in spades. They have a formula that has worked well for them. They make some great helmets, and they are still handmade in Japan. They go through some very strict safety testing and some very strict quality testing as well before they hit the shelves, so you know you're getting a consistently good lid each and every time. The big selling point with this though is that it now meets the ECE 2206 safety standard instead of the outgoing ECE 2205 safety standard, which is due to change over in 2024. Now there is an argument to be said that they didn't need to do it this early, but I think the same with doing your homework. It's just nice to get it out of the way and then you're not stressing about it when you get close to that deadline. And it is creeping up. Those years are going to go by very quickly, I'm sure. So it's good that this is future-proofed for that new safety standard. What does that mean for you? Well, I mean, they're a safe brand. They've been a safe brand for years. Nothing massive has changed about that. They've been making great helmets for a long time. The new standards, though, test a variety of different impact zones across the helmet, more impact zones, I should say. They also test a variety of different speeds, and most importantly, they do the oblique test. So instead of it hitting a flat surface, it hits an angled surface as well as the flat surface. Obviously, they do both testing, but that measures the rotational forces involved in a crash. And obviously, this helmet has passed with flying colours. Now, on top of that, it might also intrigue you to know that Arai do their own strict safety testing as well. So they do impact testing with a point rather than a flat surface on the shell just to prove how strong it is, and it sails through that as well. Now, a lot of that is going to come from the safety or the strength involved in the shell. So this has a peripherally belted E-complex laminate construction. It is a multi-fiber and resin shell. It is very, very solid. It is really hard to compress or to squeeze in. Now, a lot of other brands, or some other brands, there is a kind of toss-up really, whether you make the shell slightly softer so that it will impact or absorb some of the impact forces, or you go for a really hard shell, as Arai maintain is the best method, and then a softer internal to absorb that impact instead. I'm not here to tell you which of those methods is better. Obviously, I'm unqualified to wade in on that argument, but being as this has gone through the most strict safety testing, I would say there's a decent argument to be had for Arai's methodology. They also go or favour the rounder shell design, which from a purely vain standpoint, I quite like because it makes it look like an Arai and it makes it look authentically retro. They've got a fantastic heritage and reputation. They favour that because in an impact, it does not grip the tarmac so much. It should sort of slide as opposed to coming to an abrupt stop, which obviously would be worse for you. You may well have noticed though that it's got a few different features across it, like this spoiler on the back and these vents on the top. They break away in a crash. Now when I say break away, it doesn't mean you're going to be going down the motorway and they'll fly off because they're really securely mounted to the helmet. It just means that in a crash, they're not going to get in the way at all and stop it from doing what it needs to do. On the inside, continuing that safety and a little bit on the comfort, they have this multi-density EPS foam. That's what's going to absorb the bulk of that impact or those impact forces to keep you nice and safe and obviously transfer less trauma to the person wearing it. That shell is also reinforced still further around the visor opening and the vent on the forehead, which could potentially be structurally weaker areas. Obviously, they have then reinforced those to make them stronger. Now that's the safety out of the way. What about the style? So we've got it in these solid colorways. You've got a really nice white. Now I didn't used to be a big fan of white helmets, actually, shock horror, even though they're supposed to be more visible and therefore a little bit safer, but they are growing on me. And I think specifically with brands like this, they call it diamond white. So it's actually got a really nice kind of pearlescent fleck to it. So it's got some nice extra accent at least to that. It's a really nice white at the end of the day. You can offset that against the black detailing as well. If you change the visor, you might be able to make this look even better, in my opinion. And the rest of the features across it are simple enough. As I say, you've got vents. You have lots and lots of vents. So you've got these two horn-like vents on the top there that you can open and close if you need to. So they actually have, I believe, 3 different positions on there, but you're most likely in a set of gloves at least to slide it fully back. You've also got one on your forehead, as I mentioned, with this embossed logo, well, raised logo actually, so you can open or close that as you require. You've got two above your eyebrows on the visor itself, so you can pop those down and allow some more airflow through. You've got one on the face there, which you can open and close. And then on the reverse, you have this exhaust vent, which again, you can open or close as you need to. And you've got these two on either side, which remain open, and one on the bottom as well, which will allow that airflow all the way through. It's got vents, actually, or channels, I should say, on the inside to allow that airflow, a passage through the helmet. Then if we look at the visor, now this might be a bone of contention for some people. There could be an argument to say that it's a little bit on the fiddly side, especially one-handed. Having used it, I've got similar on the Arai Rapide. I think it actually works slightly better on this, but it's essentially the same mechanism. So you've got this down here, which you can either use your thumb to push up, or if it's closed, push it down, which I find works better. And then if you just put your finger underneath this little lip here, you can open and close it easily, and it's got multiple positions clearly on there as well. One of the nice things about that is that if you just use your thumb to pop it, it will allow a bit of airflow through. If you just want to half crack it to allow some airflow through to demist, then obviously that's going to be easily done using this. To actually change the visor, and you can do that, it's actually the VAS Vision Max visor, which is across other helmets as well from Arai, so you will be able to find a variety of different visors if you so choose. You actually open the visor itself, so if I just pop that up, you can see a little switch down there as well, which you push in and then just peel these away. It's really easy. I understand, again, that could seem fiddly, but honestly, it is not. And then you get access to the screws there that you can loosen off just to change the visor. And if you just pop it back on, which I'll try and do with as little faff as possible, there you go. It's as simple as that. Easy. First time and everything. I've even impressed myself. But honestly, it's a really functional visor. Obviously, it comes with pin lock, and it works really, really well. Once you've used pin lock, if you've never used it before, you really won't want to go back at all, because it does help on the majority of rides, mostly when it's colder, obviously, and you breathe in there and it fogs up, which ultimately, again, makes it a safer helmet, because you need to see where you're going. It's kind of crucial. On the inside, for comfort, the padding actually is contoured. So the cheek pieces themselves have this facial contouring, which makes them instantly comfortable the moment you get it on. It doesn't need to break in quite the same. Depending on your fit, and I'm going to use myself as an example, I thought Arai's didn't fit me all that well. I've got an intermediate oval shaped head, and I found these to be more on the rounder side as a fit. So I tended to favour things like Shoei, for me particularly, or HJC even, tend to fit me reasonably well. Actually, I've found that with the Rapide that I've got, and same with this one, it's a really decent fit, but I had to go for the large and then just pad out the cheek pieces. You can change the cheek pieces, that depends on use. The large is my fit, but then I find that I've got quite a thin face and a big old cranium. Not to say that I'm smarter by any standards, because clearly I'm not. It's just the way that my face is made up. And you might find a similar kind of difficulty if you've got a slimmer face but a bigger head. You might want to change the cheek pieces, which of course you can do on this. You can go between, I think it's 12 millimeters all the way up to 35 millimeters, depending on what fits you best. And you can buy different inserts for that. It's really comfortable. It's this nice blue color as well. It's really soft, as I say, very comfortable. And again, probably more importantly, you've got these emergency release tabs on there. So if you were to have an accident, you're lying on the ground, the emergency services need to get off your helmet, that is there so they can pull out those cheek pieces really quickly and efficiently without disturbing your head, your neck, your back too much, obviously, in the process, which is important, obviously very important. You've also got this chin curtain, which will help with the wind flow to a certain degree, so it stops that whipping around there into your face, so you have the air that you want using the vents and not the one that you don't, so you can control that, obviously, depending on which ones you open and close. And then the neck is fastened via these double D-rings, which are nice and secure, and some people might find those a bit more of a faff. Honestly, just persevere with it. It is, from my experience, a better way of securing your helmet. It's nice and secure, and you get to adjust it each and every time, so it's always a comfortable fit. For size, as I previously mentioned, it is a decent fit. I would say it is, again, true to size. We've got that size guide on the website. If you're tall and short, check that out. If you've used an Arai before, you'll already know your size. It's the exact same with this. They do it in 3 different shell sizes as well. It's 1 shell per 2 sizes, starting from extra small. So you're not going to get a small with a massive shell and look like a bobblehead. You can actually find the one that fits you and it doesn't look too big at all. And then for the weight, actually, it's not an uncomfortable weight either. Obviously, it is a solid lid. You're going to expect a certain degree of weight to that, but not an uncomfortable weight. As I said though, safety, quality, and comfort, that's what this helmet has in spades. If you want to check them out, find them on the Urban Rider website. They are £499.99 for the solid colorway that you see here. We have the link in the description, obviously. Drop your comments and questions. We'd love to hear from you guys. And for more of the world's finest riding gear, stay tuned to Urban Rider. Thank you.